What's going on, guys? Your boy Amazing. We're back with another video, and in today's video, guys, we're actually doing the complete build guide for Kinich. In this video, we're going to be going over his best weapons, best artifacts, best talent priority, and then going over some of the constellations, whether or not they're going to be worth. And we're going to be talking about everything you pretty much need to know about Kinich in this video to actually build the character and use him effectively in the Spiral Abyss. If you guys enjoy videos like this, definitely make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. I appreciate all the support on the channel. And with that out of the way, guys, let's hop straight into Kinich's best weapons, and we'll talk his signature first. Alright, guys, so hopping onto the game here, we got Fang of the Mountain King being Kinich's signature weapon. As you guys know, the banner is out right now for it, and you can actually pull for this, and it's gonna be his best in slot 100%. For what the actual effects on the weapon does, it has very, very high base attack, so it's gonna be at 741 at the level 90. It does have a crit rate substat as well, where I think it goes up to 11% at level 90 as well. Yeah, and then the actual effect on the weapon here is going to gain 1 stack of Canopy's favor after hitting an opponent with an elemental skill, and this can be triggered once every 0.5 seconds. After a nearby party member triggers a burning or burgeon reaction, the equipping character will gain 3 stacks. This effect can be triggered once every 2 seconds and can be triggered even when the triggering party member is off field. And so in terms of what Canopy's favor is actually providing, it's going to be elemental skill and burst damage increased by 10% for 6 seconds up to a max of 6 stacks. You get up to 60% for the actual elemental skill and burst damage, which is very, very strong. And it does also mention that each stack is counted independently, so obviously you're gonna have the independent stacks for each 6 seconds that's going on. So yeah, that's gonna be his best in slot 100%. I mean, it's literally a signature weapon, guys. Alright, guys, in terms of other options you can actually run for Kinich that are gonna be really, really strong, one of them I definitely do recommend for you guys is gonna be the Battle Pass Serpent Spine. Serpent Spine is a really nice weapon to just have for your character. It does have a crit rate main style, which doesn't really help Kinich specifically. Once we get to his artifacts, you guys will know kind of why. But the actual effect on Serpent Spine is very strong, though. If you actually look at a R5 one that I have on my account, so Wave Splitter is going to be every 4 seconds a character is on the field, they will deal 10% more damage and take 2% more damage. This effect can get to a maximum of 5 stacks and will not be reset if the character leaves the field, but will be reduced by 1 stack when the character does take damage. So yeah, it's gonna be a pretty high base attack, considering it, 510, that's pretty good, and then 27.6% crit rate at the max stack, which is gonna be really good and probably gonna be his best 4-star option. There is another 4-star option as well, which is gonna be really good for him too, which is the Earthshaker. This is actually the craftable weapon you can get from the Natlan crafting, and in terms of what it's actually going to do, it's going to have a fairly good base attack, and this will scale up. The attack percent on it is going to increase by a good chunk as well. And then in terms of the actual effect on the weapon, though, guys, it's going to be after a party member triggers a pyro related reaction, the equipping character's elemental skill damage is increased by 16% for 8 seconds. And this effect can be triggered even when the triggering party member is not on the field. And remember, this is at R1, and you can actually get the dupes through just crafting the dupes. So that is definitely something to take into account. This will scale up, I think, to, what is that, 32% elemental skill damage right there, which is going to be very, very strong. In terms of the 5-star options, guys, I don't know if any of them are going to be better than the Fang of the Mountain King. I mean, Wolf's Greystone is going to be pretty nice too. You're going to be able to buff your team for their attack as well. It's going to increase attack by 20%, and then on hit, attacks against opponents will, with less than 30% HP, increase all party members' attack by 40% for 12 seconds, which can also be a pretty nice buff for the team. I don't think Song of Broken Pines is going to be good at all. Red Horn, if you want like a super crazy stat stick for him, I mean, you get a lot of crit damage from Red Horn as well, right? But it's very, very low base attack and is not really going to be competing too well against, like Fang of the Mountain King or even like a maxed out Serpent Spine, in my opinion. I feel like this would still probably be better than a Red Horn Stone Thresher. But if you just want like really nice like crit stats just for looking at the character, then go for Red Horn. But I think my main recommendations for what you guys want to run are going to be Fang of the Mountain King, and then you do also have Serpent Spine, which is a very, very good 4-star. And if you can't get the Battle Pass, then I definitely recommend the Earthshaker one as well. Another one you can also run as well, guys, is going to be the Luxurious Sea Lord. This is from an event in the past for Genshin Impact, but if you do have this and you just kind of have it chilling, then hey, I mean, it's not going to be a bad weapon either. It does increase your elemental burst damage specifically, which, Kinich doesn't really need super a lot. You mainly want the elemental skill damage, but this can definitely be another option too if you don't want to build, the Earthshaker or you don't have Serpent Spine, right? So that's definitely another option you can run, but I think it's just if you just kind of have it and you don't have the other ones built. That's kind of the idea. All right, guys, so that's going to be the weapons for Kinich in my opinion. Now let's actually move on and talk the artifacts. Alright guys, so talking about the artifacts for Kinich, in my opinion, the best artifact set is going to be his Obsidian Codex. Obsidian Codex is going to be on the 2-piece, is going to, while the equipping character is in the Night Soul's Blessing, which every Natlan specific character will have, whenever they're on the field, their damage dealt will be increased by 15%. And then for the Force set, after the equipping character consumes 1 Night Soul point while on the field, crit rate is going to actually increase by 40% for 6 seconds, and this effect can be triggered once every second. So pretty much every Natlan main DPS is going to be using Obsidian Codex. It's a free 40% crit rate and 50% damage dealt, which is really hard to miss up on, considering, you know, that's going to help a lot for your, you know, substats on the character and make it really easy to build the character as well. In terms of other artifact sets that are really good, guys, you're going to have Unfinished Reverie, which is going to be a fairly close set. That one's going to be the burning set, which actually increases your burning damage and stuff. The next one from that could be Marchese Hunter. If you're running the character and, you know, you have Farina on the team, or you have someone that can lower your HP, you know, having Marchese Hunter could be another option, and I think could definitely benefit Kinich as well. But I think, you know, the main set, obviously, that you guys are going to want to run is going to be Obsidian Codex, though. And I don't think the other recommendations that I gave are going to be as good or even close to Obsidian Codex in terms of just the strength of the set. In terms of the actual artifact stats you guys are looking for, man, so in terms of substats here, so if we're talking, like, you know, flowers, you definitely want to go crit rate, crit damage, attack percent. EM could be pretty good too. ER if you want as well. I think it would probably be in that order, right? So crit damage first, then crit rate, I guess, right? Same for this, right? Obviously crit damage first, then a little bit of crit rate, get some EM in there, and that could be really nice. Now, in terms of the actual main stats here, guys, for the Circlet, Sands, and the Goblet, for the Circlet, we're going to go with crit damage 100%, because remember, Obsidian Codex is giving you 40% crit rate in the set bonus, and so you can actually get a lot of crit rate from that alone and use crit damage on his, like, actual main Circlet. That's obviously going to boost your crit damage a ton and just increases damage by a very, very good amount. Obviously, for the substats on this, you would definitely want to get like crit rate, energy recharge, attack percent, EM. Like that would probably be like the best set you could get for a circlet. But it's not like a must to get all those things. The main bonus of crit damage is going to be the most important thing. Moving on to these Sands here, guys. Attack percent Sands is going to be his best. I guess his second best would probably be like an EM Sands, you know, because of the pyro reaction with Dendro for burning. But I think overall, attack percent is going to be the way to go. And you definitely want to get a bunch of crit damage, crit rate, attack percent, energy recharge, EM. Those are going to be the stats you're kind of looking for on the substats. And then for the Goblet here, guys, for the Goblet, we actually are going to be going with Dendro damage bonus, as Kinich is a on-field Dendro damage dealer, and so we want to be boosting as much damage as we can for his Dendro, and so we're going to go with a Dendro damage Goblet. Now, again, in terms of these substats for this, you're going to go crit damage, crit rate, you know, attack percent, energy recharge, EM, and it's going to be pretty much in that order. Yeah, he's very, very good in terms of flexibility with the stats, and you don't really need as much crit rate because, again, as I mentioned, Obsidian Codex provides so much that you really don't even really need to roll much crit rate in his set. Like the trial Kinich that I have right here is 36.1 and 182 on the ratio, which is actually a 76% crit rate 182, which is very, very good. Right, so obviously that right there is going to be a reason why you don't really have to build too much crit rate, and you can mainly focus on the crit damage part to boost Kinich's damage a ton. Again, at the end of the day, guys, you are looking for a 1-to-2 ratio, and because of Obsidian Codex, you don't really have to go for like super high crit rate, again, as I mentioned. So like 70, 150 would be a pretty good shot for it, in my opinion. And remember too that the weapon Fang of the Mountain King is giving you a little bit of extra crit rate too. You get 10%, 11% crit rate from that, so that could definitely be a boost for your artifacts and your stats in general. Alright guys, so now we're actually moving on to the constellation part of the video. So constellations for Kinich are actually going to be very good, but I don't necessarily think you need to be going for constellations on this character, and I think he's going to be really, really good at C0. But if you guys do want to go for constellations, let's actually talk about which ones are going to be good. So for constellation 1 here, after Kinich lands from Canopy Hunter Riding's high mid-air swing, his movement speed will increase by 30% for 6 seconds, and additionally the skill spiker's cannon crit damage is increased by 100%. That C1 is a very, very strong C1 in my opinion, insane, guys. Getting a free 100% crit damage buff just by doing your E is kind of crazy, man. So definitely a really strong C1. Now moving on to his C2, when Kinich's elemental skill hits an opponent, it will decrease their Dendro Res by 30% for 6 seconds. That's really good too. Additionally, the first Scale Spiker's cannon Kinich fires after entering the Night Soul's Blessing has increased his AoE, and his damage increases by 100%. So yeah, C1 and C2 are going to be really insane for this character, and probably the stopping point, I would say. Yeah, I mean, these are really strong, both of these combined. You know, getting that extra critical damage on you know, just by using the E, the Canopy's Hunter, and then when you get yeah, when an elemental skill hits an opponent, Dendro Res Shred, and you get increased damage in AoE. I mean, guys, it's hard to miss up, man. That's a very strong Constellation. Moving on, we have Canopy's Hunter, so his E gets +3 levels on the talent. We do also have his Constellation 4, which is going to be when in Night Soul's Blessing, Kinich will restore 5 energy after using his loop shots or after unleashing the Scale Spiker cannon, and energy can be regenerated in this way once every 2.8 seconds, and additionally the Hail of the Almighty Dragonlord deals 70% more damage. So this is going to be a way to kind of buff mainly the dragon, so the elemental burst. But I guess you do get your energy a lot easier back too with this Constellation 4. So if you're really lacking in energy department, that could be a really good way to help you get your elemental burst on cooldown. Moving on to his Constellation 5, guys, this is going to be the Hail to the Almighty Dragonlord to increase the talent by 3 levels. And then moving on to C6 here, guys, after the Scale Spiker cannon hits an opponent, it will bounce between opponents once, dealing 700% of Kinich's attack as Dendro damage, which is really good. And then if the Scale Spiker cannon triggers the bust of the passive talent Flame Spirit Pact or the Constellation Tiger Beetle's Palm, grant the cannon the bouncing attack will also obtain the relevant buffs as well, which is insane because that means you're able to actually get the buffs from Tiger Beetle's Palm, and also, what was it, the Flame Spirit. Oh, I guess that's actually in yeah, so that's in the passive talent, so you're gonna be able to get that as well. So yeah, I mean, all his Constellations are actually really good. Surprisingly, I think his C1 and C2 would be probably where you stop for like main damage. C4 would be if you do want a little bit more like energy regen and some damage on the elemental burst, and then C6 would just be for just absurd damage, guys, if you're like a super Kinich main. Yeah, I think honestly C0 is going to be great. These C1 and C2 are very good, but not going to be, you know, must-haves in general if you're just pulling for the character just to use the character at the base. Alright, guys, now moving on to the talents here, let's actually talk everything in terms of the talents that Kinich needs to be done and the priority for the talents as well. So in terms of the priority for the talents, guys, we're definitely going to want to focus on Canopy's Hunter first, as this is going to be his elemental skill and the one that you want to boost the most versus the other 2 talents. Now the number 2 talent on the priority is going to be Hail to the Almighty Dragonlord. It's going to be the second one you level up, right? And then the normal attacks you really don't have to level up because they're not going to be affecting any of the scaling on Canopy's Hunter or even Hail to the Almighty Dragon King, so you really don't have to touch normal attack too much. I would say probably just leave it, you know, low level, but you could definitely focus on the elemental skill and Hail to the Almighty Dragonlord. Now in terms of what the actual Canopy's Hunter is doing, let's actually read some of this stuff here, guys, to let you know exactly how it works. So Kinich uses his big game hunting skills to either move swiftly or attack his opponent. When there is an opponent or object that can be attacked nearby, he will attach a grappling hook to the target and enter the Night Soul's Blessing with 0 Night Soul points. If neither is nearby, he fires a grappling hook forward and swings in midair, and this skill's cooldown is decreased by 60%. So for you guys that don't know what that means, is when you actually jump with Kinich and do his elemental skill, you're going to be able to get a little bit of a boost in the air, and pretty much anywhere in Natlan you're going to be able to move very quickly. Like if I pick up this right here as well, for the extra Night Soul Blessing boost, we can actually just spam the elemental skill right there and use it to kind of traverse this area, which is pretty crazy, the fact he's able to do that. So that's going to be part of his elemental skill right there. And then moving on from there, guys, this skill can be held to be released as well, and then if held, Kinich can aim the grappling hook whatever direction you're kind of looking for. And then in the Night Soul's Blessing for Kinich, Kinich's Night Soul Blessing lasts 10 seconds and generates 2 Night Soul points every second. In this state, Kinich will hook onto the nearby opponent and perform a variable attack. When using a normal attack, Kinich will fire loop shots as he loops around the grappled target based on his current movement direction, dealing Night Soul aligned Dendro damage and generating 3 Night Soul points. Loop shot damage is considered elemental skill damage as well, so anytime you're buffing elemental skill damage, it is going to be in turn buffing the loop shot damage. And then when the Night Soul points are at max, he can use the elemental skill Scale Spiker's Cannon, which will consume all Night Soul points and deal Night Soul aligned Dendro damage. And when the Scale Spiker's Cannon is held, Kinich can aim this shot, and after firing the cannon, Kinich will try to grapple to the target as well. So yeah, that's going to be exactly how the E works, guys. A very, very strong elemental skill right there. And then these are going to be the skill upgrades at talent level 8. So the loop shot is going to be 91.6 times 2, 1099 scale spiker cannon, and then the night soul point limit is going to be 20 with a 18-second cooldown. Now moving on to Hail to the Almighty Dragon Lord. In terms of what this is actually going to do, it's going to unleash the power of the Almighty Dragon Lord Kuhul Aja, hopefully I got that right, on a limited conditional restricted contractual, partial, and temporary basis, dealing Night Soul aligned AoE dendro damage. And Aja will actually unleash his Dragon's Breath at intervals, dealing Night Soul aligned AoE dendro damage. And if Kinich is in the Night Soul's Blessing when this is used, this blessing's duration is extended by 1.7 seconds, so that's going to be really good. So you definitely want to use your elemental skill first and then go into the elemental burst. And then for the actual skill up attributes on this, guys, it's going to have the skill damage, and this is going to be at level 8 talents, 214.4. Dragon's Breath damage is going to be 193.2%. The duration is going to be 15 seconds, and the cooldown is going to be 18 seconds as well. But remember, guys, that you can actually add the 1.7 seconds here duration increase for this, and this will actually increase it to 16.7% or 16.7 seconds there on the duration increase. So that's going to be really, really good. All right, guys, now moving on from all of that, let's actually talk his first passive talent. So when Kinich is in the Night Soul's Blessing state, opponents hit by his elemental skill will enter the Desolation state, and when affected by burning or burgeon reaction damage, they will restore 7 Night Soul points to him. Any Night Soul points can be gained this way once every 0.8 seconds, and the Desolation state will persist until this instant of Kinich's Night Soul Blessing state ends. So that's obviously going to be a very big buff for burning and burgeon reaction damage. Now we got the Flame Spirit Pact here, which is going to be another passive talent. After a nearby party member triggers a Night Soul burst, Kinich will actually gain 1 stack of Hunter's experience that lasts 15 seconds, max of 2 stacks, and when Kinich uses the Canopy Hunter riding highs, Scale Spiker's Cannon, all stacks of Hunter's experience will be consumed, and with each stack consumed, increasing the damage dealt by this cannon by 320% of Kinich's attack. So that's going to be really, really strong, and obviously boosting the damage of the, the main hit with the Scale Spiker Cannon. And then moving on to his next passive talent here, guys, we got Night Realm's Gift, repaid in full. When Kinich is in the air following the Canopy's Hunter mid-air swing, he can consume 10 Philosian points to actually perform another mid-air swing, and while in this area with the Philosian mechanics within Natlan, he can use the Night Soul Transmission Kinich when the current active character is sprinting in the movement state that results from the specific talents and or in the air. When you switch to Kinich, Kinich will perform one of the following actions depending on the condition. And then you have all these actions right here, guys, depending on what you're doing when you switch into Kinich. When you do have, obviously, a bunch of Philosian, right? Now, moving on to his last passive talent here, guys, we got the Swift Envoy. While in the area with the Philosian mechanics within Natlan, interacting with some harvestable items will increase your own party member's movement speed by 15 seconds, or by 15% for 10 seconds. And additionally, the location of nearby resources unique to Natlan will appear on your minimap. So he actually has a bunch of, Natlan-specific buffs to your party members and for, just resource, acquisition. All right, guys, so that's going to be pretty much everything you need to know about Kinich right there and, all of that. Let's actually move over to his best teams and we'll talk best teams for Kinich. Alright, guys, in terms of Kinich's best teams, I'm actually going to put the best team sheet on the screen right here, guys, but there are going to be multiple teams you can run. As you guys see, I don't actually have Emilie or Kinich on my main account, but I do have team recommendations I can definitely let you guys know about. So let's say Tignari is Kinich and then Yao Yao is Emilie. This would be the best team, in my opinion, for running the Kinich on-field damage dealer. The reason why this would be the case is because Bennett's here to give you the attack buff and also have pyro application with his C6 if you actually do have that. And then Toma here is going to be a really good character because he could be your shielder while actually being able to provide extra pyro damage to, make the burning more consistent and keep you alive with the shield. So, having Toma and Bennett for the burning reaction is going to be really good. And then you can have other, you can do Emilie, you can do Nahida, you can do Yao Yao, some type of other Dendro off-field character. So, Nahida could be good. Cole, I guess, could be an option. But you're really just looking for any other Dendro off-field damage. And then, and then obviously Kinich in this slot too. There are other team comps too, guys, where you can do Burgeon, where you could do like Farina on the team, right? Because she could actually apply the Hydro, so you can get the Burgeon reaction. You could also do Yalan or even Sing Show as well, as they will have pretty good off-field damage too while you're in Kinich's Night Soul Blessing. So obviously these two characters could be really helpful for you too. And then if you're looking for like a healer, maybe Barbara or Kokomi could be pretty nice too, just to have some off-field Hydro application while giving you the heal heals and just providing you with the healing for the team. Alright guys, so what we're gonna do at the end of the video here is I'm gonna have my showcase play, and you guys can enjoy the showcase here for the team that I'm gonna be using. I think the team will probably be either Xiangling or Toma in the last slot, and I don't really recommend Xiangling like that too much, guys, because the Pyronado in practice doesn't really work too well alongside Kinich because of the way he moves. But Xiangling is another option too. But in terms of the team I'm probably going to be running, it'll be you know, either Emilie or Nahida, and then we'll have a Toma or Xiangling, and then Bennett and Kinich, and I'll show you guys how he's able to go on the Spiral Abyss. So that's going to be it for the video. I hope you guys did enjoy. Let me know what you guys think of Kinich in the comments below, if you summoned for the character, and if you actually do enjoy playing the character. That's going to be it, and I'm going to see you guys on the next one, man. Peace out, and enjoy the rest of the clip, guys, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
みんながそばにいて切りとがって散りなさい師匠の技を食らいなさい伝令権限我が輩の意向は比類なきもの晴れない無助金達で代償を払ってもらうぞのために管理します料理の時間へ全力攻撃だかかったな我に光最高戦士よっみんながそばに八神に報いるために態度はないセーゲルの熱源で強くナッチラを照らそう一切合切燃やし尽くせキャッハー愉快爽快清掃開始熱々でしょかかった